What you wanna know?
What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here. Welcome to another episode of What Do You Want to Know, where you ask your questions. If I like your questions, I answer your questions on camera. First off, hopefully you noticed that the audio is a little bit better than what you're used to with my videos. After what I said last week about how I refuse to spend money on a microphone, and that if it really bothered you, you should put your money where your mouth is, a kind viewer actually did that. I'm not going to give out his full name, but I want to say thank you to Steve for hooking up this new microphone. Hopefully it makes enough of a difference to actually justify what Steve spent on this. But yeah, thank you so much, Steve. It's one of those things where it's like, it blows your mind how generous people can be just because they enjoy your content on YouTube. So, Steve, thank you very much, man. So yeah, let's get into it. First question. AssMongol911 said, some fuckhead with a Burzum shirt keeps parking his car outside my house at night on regular intervals. Sometimes he gets out of his car and walks around in my neighbor's driveways, but most of the time he just sits in the driver's seat fiddling with his phone. I have no idea who the fuck he is or what he wants. I can't really call the police on him since he hasn't done anything, and he might retaliate by burning my house down like a church or something. What do I do? Odds are this dude's dead, so I probably don't really even need to answer this question, but for future reference, situation like this, you have two options. You either call the cops or you mind your business, and usually it's a better idea to do the latter. First off, what kind of presumptuous dick thinks that just because you're wearing a Burzum shirt, that means you're up to no good? Do you also follow people around the store if they're wearing a Tupac shirt? And why is it that you have absolutely nothing better to do than stare out the window at your neighbor's house? Like, are you the neighborhood nosy busybody that knows everybody's business? Old Pearl from 227 ass motherfucker. Like, go read a book or fucking write a play or some shit, man. Stop worrying about what Lord Wizardfitz is doing next door. Until you see him loading a body into his car at 2 a.m., mind your goddamn business. For all you know, he could be an undercover cop on some 21 Jump Street type shit, watching the house and protecting his family. And the only time he's getting out of his car is to stretch out a goddamn Charlie horse. Man, you don't fucking know. You don't know. Now go sit your nosy ass down somewhere, Pearl. Next question. Oscar Whitmire said, hey Myke, thanks for creating such an awesome channel. I'm going to skip over the niceties because while I appreciate them, they're a bit long. So let's get into the actual part of the question. I've always been very curious about everything happening in the musical landscape and spent countless hours reading and listening to albums old as well as new. This has made me somewhat conscious about all the great music that has been made, and I feel like I can critique and compare albums when I listen to them. But here's the problem. Some of my classmates really enjoy bands and artists like One Direction, Blink-182, and Kid Cudi, whom I naturally think is a pile of shit and should only be used for torture of people who has committed crimes against humanity. Sometimes I feel like my musical taste is beyond theirs, and I find it hard to take their opinion seriously because of how little musical knowledge they must have by liking music like that. And this is what I do not like. I don't feel like I should be raising myself above their opinion and question their taste in music, even though I feel like there is oceans of great music just waiting for them to dive into, and there is no right or wrong music, so their taste should be just as suspected and credible as my own. I wonder if you have ever had to deal with such feelings in a musical discussion, and how you feel about the subject matter. Help me, Myke. I think I'm turning into a music snob. Kind regards, Oscar. You're turning into a music snob, Oscar? I hate to break it to you, bro, but I think you're already there. Now it's just a matter of trying to get you back. And the good thing is, at least you know you have a problem, so that means you're not too far gone. So yeah, of course I felt like this before, man. You know, when I was in high school listening to punk rock, I thought my musical taste was far beyond anyone else around me. You know, let somebody come up to me wearing a fucking Pink Floyd shirt. I'm like, no, fucking Screeching Weasel, Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat, like, hello? So yeah, totally dismissing bands with immense talent who can actually compose incredible soundscapes while listening to bands who can barely play 3 chords. Totally makes sense, right? Eventually you grow out of that and you start looking at music taste like any other kind of taste. You know, because it's like, I don't really understand why musical preference can't be the same as any other preference. Like, you know, someone saying, I like the color blue over the color green, or I like Coke over Pepsi. You know, it's just so weird. And I'm not saying that I don't do it, because I totally do this too. I definitely judge people to a degree based on their musical taste. And if you say that you absolutely never do that, you are a fucking liar. Everyone does this. You know, if somebody walks up to me in an ICP shirt, I'm judging them a certain way. You know, if someone walks up to me in an Atmosphere shirt, I'm still judging them, but in a different way. An old Slayer t-shirt, of course, a different prejudgment. It's not necessarily a negative judgment, it's just that I'm creating a preconceived notion of what this person's about in my head before I actually speak to them. And it's totally natural. The difference here is you're actually looking down on someone because of their music taste. Not because you think your music taste is different, but because you think it's better. And you somehow think that this makes you a better person. And it doesn't, man. Your musical taste may be a bit of a reflection of your personality, but it has nothing to do with the content of your character. What you need to realize is there's no such thing as bad art. You know, any work of art, whether it be a painting, a poem, a movie, a song, it's not bad in global terms because the way we're determining bad is 100% subjective, so there's no way to prove it right or wrong. So it's okay for you to say a song is bad because it should be common sense that the part of, you know, to me is implied when you're making that statement. But the thing that's important is that you understand that there's no way that you can make this statement factual. We have to force ourselves to kind of like separate what we know as truth from what other people know as truth, and that's so hard, but it's really necessary when it comes to interacting properly with people, especially when talking about art, especially when talking about music. What you really need to start doing is looking at these people in your class and thinking, would I judge them based on their clothing choices? You know, would I judge them based on, like I said earlier, dietary preference? Because that's always my response when someone asks me why I like a band. My response is always, why do you like pizza? You know, why do you like oatmeal? Why don't you hate grapefruits? Because everybody should hate grapefruits because they're fucking disgusting. And if you don't hate grapefruits, you're weird. It's the same thing. It's next to impossible to really describe these types of senses, right? So how do you describe why you enjoy something that will actually convince someone that doesn't enjoy it to start enjoying it? You know, you can't. It's impossible. Your taste does not rule the world. No one's does. Lastly, you need to drop that shit about thinking that just because someone likes a certain type of music, that means that they don't have any musical knowledge. So let's say, what if we just met and all you knew about me was that I liked Katy Perry and Spice Girls? Both of those things are true, but what if that's all you knew about me? So would you assume that I don't have any musical knowledge? And if you did, that's really fucked up and really presumptuous, because in this case, you'd be very wrong. Perhaps you're wrong in the case of your classmates as well. Personally, I appreciate people who can like different kinds of music, especially if it's music that I can't personally understand. You know, I'll take someone with a diverse musical taste over someone with the exact same musical taste as me any day, because shit, what can I learn from this person that has the exact same taste as me? I'd rather they teach me something musically rather than we sit around having a fucking circle jerk about all the bands we have in common. If someone can listen to Death Grips, Depeche Mode, Willie Nelson, and Lady Gaga all on the same day, I think that that's special. And if you can't do that, then maybe that's something that you should think about. You know, maybe the issue is not that what your classmates are listening to is bullshit. Maybe it's that you can't fix your brain to actually appreciate more than certain specified sounds. When it comes to the opinions of others and what you deem as a lack of knowledge, if you're not willing to accept, then you need to be willing to educate. And if you're not willing to accept or educate, then you need to be willing to shut the fuck up and move on with your life. That's really it, man. Musical taste is not factual. It's all opinion-based. And anything opinion-based cannot be proven right or wrong. So you need to get off this pretentious high horse, dude, and come back to reality, man. Again, I don't think you're too far gone. I totally think you can come back. And trust me, coming from a recovering music asshole Nazi, I think you can do it, man. I have faith in you. So that's it. As usual, if you want to send me questions, you can submit them through my Tumblr. You can put them on the discussion board on my YouTube page, and you can tweet them to me by hashtagging WDYWK. As usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and I will see you guys next time. Alright? Peace!